I'd like to call the meeting to order. Let the record show all board members are present. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. First thing on our agenda is recognitions. Ms. Hodges.
Good evening. We have several recognitions this evening. The first recognition on the agenda for secondary is the West Virginia Marching Band Invitational High School 2024-25 winners. For the West Virginia Marching Band Festival, it was held on October 26th. That was a Saturday. We've had several of these recognitions in the last few weeks, and tonight, like I said, we get to celebrate those students that are at Shady High School. The 13th Annual West Virginia State Marching Band Invitational Championship was held in Charleston at Laidley Field. Bands are judged on general effect, marching and maneuvering, music effect, percussion, drum major, color guard, majorettes, and featured twirlers. This evening, I have the honor of recognizing the accomplishments of the Shady Spring High School band members at this championship. Shady Spring High School won first place for an auxiliary. If we have any band members that want to come down. You'll probably be back. Also, still recognizing the band, we will now move to the West Virginia SSAC Academic Achievement Awards. For those of you that may not be familiar with this award, these awards are presented to honor middle school and high school students in West Virginia who exhibit exceptional academic performance and personal accomplishments. These awards celebrate students who excel academically, meaning they maintain high GPAs, are active participants in extracurricular activities such as athletics, the arts, and community service. The SSAC recognizes well-rounded individuals who exemplify scholarship, leadership, and dedication to their school and community. For the high school division, the West Virginia SSAC Academic Achievement Awards would like to recognize Shady Spring High School's marching band. Congratulations. The SSAC also recognized and presented an award for overall band. Squeeze in. Nobody move, stay right there. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize David Hegley for Outstanding Male Band Student. No one move. And I would also like to take a moment to recognize Shady Spring High School Band Director, Mr. Fama, for all of his achievements as well. Congratulations. Now to recognize the middle school SSAC Academic Achievement Awards. If I call your name, please come down. For middle school, representing Shady Spring Middle School, Male Athlete Award, Kyle Millay. Kyle? No Kyle? For Male Band Award, Carson Gray. Carson's a lot taller since the last time I saw him. Female Band Award, Riley Helmer. For individual sport awards, boys track, Kyle Millay, Caleb Rose, Cooper Bostick, Zane Patel, and Owen Brown. Congratulations to those individual sport awards as well. Next, I would like to recognize the Shady Spring High School Presidential Scholar recipient. The United States Presidential Scholars Program recognizes and honors seniors who demonstrate outstanding ability and accomplishments. Raleigh County Schools nominated 2 students this school year for this remarkable honor. This evening, I would like to introduce you to David Hegley, a senior at Shady Spring High School who demonstrates outstanding character as well as strong academic success. Come on down, David. A few words I would like to say about David by one of the Shady Spring High School staff members. Albert Einstein once said, "The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination." As I have come to know David, I have found that his imagination and vision for the future are among the qualities that have driven his many successes. David has maintained a GPA of 4.0 or higher throughout his entire high school career, demonstrating remarkable consistency in his academic achievements. As the president of the National Honor Society, David exemplifies scholarly excellence and leadership. His dedication to academics is further highlighted by his impressive SAT score of 1,300. David's academic success is matched by an unwavering work ethic. He is a committed member to the Shady Spring High School Band and has contributed significantly to the soccer, swim, and track teams. His talents extend beyond athletics and the arts. He often volunteers at school events, assisting in the concession stand or selling tickets. Beyond his achievements, David's character shines through. His charismatic personality and genuine kindness have left a lasting impact on everyone around him. He possesses a unique ability to connect with peers and adults alike, building meaningful relationships across diverse backgrounds. David is the kind of person who embodies true friendship, always ready to lend a helping hand and provide encouragement. His generosity is unmatched. He would give his last belonging to someone in need without hesitation. As a peer mentor in our school's peer leader program, David's natural ability to lead with compassion and understanding is evident. He is a positive influence wherever he goes, making him a valued member of our school community. David's blend of academic excellence, leadership, and character makes him an outstanding candidate for the U.S. Presidential Scholars Program. His achievements are a testament to his dedication, and his potential for future success is limitless. Congratulations, David. And I will continue. This evening, I have the honor of standing in for our Assistant Superintendent, Mr. Dillon. And I would like to recognize the Shady Spring High School golf team. The 2024-25 West Virginia SSAC AA Golf Champions. The high school golf state championship was held in Wheeling in October. That seems like months ago. Shady Spring High School came out on top to win the Class AA title as a team. After the 2 days, the Tigers shot a plus 59 combined. That was 17 strokes ahead of second place. All 4 Tigers finished earning all-state honors, with Tyler Beard leading the pack at plus 15, followed by Cooper Ward at plus 20, Jack Williams at plus 25, and Grant Winkler at plus 28. If I call your name, I see a few of you up there. Please come and join us. Congratulations to this winning team. Jack Williams, please come down. Oh. Tyler Beard. Make sure you stay up here so we can get a group picture. Grant Winkler. Cooper Ward. And also, if our coaches Greg Daniel and Kenya Smith could join us. I was going to say I didn't have it. Okay. I know, they didn't give that to us. Really? Okay. Yeah, because that's how. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Good evening, board members, President Ford, Superintendent Starcher. Tonight we have another recognition. Shape America, the National Society of Health and Physical Educators, recognized teachers annually for their excellence in physical education, adaptive physical education, health and dance education. Stephanie Morris, the SHAPE CEO, describes these teachers as those who motivate and lead their students to participate in a lifetime of physical activity. The teacher we are recognizing tonight is exceptional in her field. In 2022, she was named SHAPE's West Virginia Physical Education Teacher of the Year. In 2023, she received the SHAPE West Virginia Young Professional Honor Award. And last month, she was named SHAPE's 2025 Midwest Physical Education Teacher of the Year. She will be honored in April at the 2025 SHAPE National Convention. Please join me in congratulating Shady Spring Elementary's physical education teacher and my friend, Amanda Daniels.
Okay, wasn't that fun? I was going to wear my Shady High School alumni hat, but I chose not to. But I still have it here. Okay, moving right along. Delegations, agenda items. We have none for non-agenda items. Mr. Weidensaw, come up here. You got 5 minutes.
I'd like to thank the board for him allowing me this opportunity to speak. I do have a slight stutter when I'm nervous, so just please bear with me. Yeah, sorry. My name is Andrew Weidensaw, and I used to work for the board as a janitor for, I'd say, around 9 years, and the 8 of those years, I worked in the schools until I took the janitor's job up at the central office. I soon found out that wasn't really the job for me. Instead of going back to a school where I felt more well-suited, I just handed in my resignation and I walked out. I didn't even give a 2 weeks notice, and that was effective April the 26th of 2021. And on that note, I would like to apologize to the board members, especially Dr. Starcher, who was very good to me while I was there. And also, even though he isn't here, my immediate supervisor at that time, Mr. Butcher. That's something that I have come to regret, but it was a lesson that I needed to learn. Life is a series of stepping stones, and sometimes you make mistakes. Some of them are really bad, but it's important that you pick yourself back up, you acknowledge those mistakes, learn from them, and keep moving forward. And I have definitely learned from that. Sometimes you have to learn things the hard way. And but I just want to be given a second chance just to come back at a school somewhere, answer them.
Thank you. Moving right along, communication report. Dr. Hutchins? Ms. Hamrick? Ms. Smith?
Yeah.
Mr. Snuffer?
All I want to do is just a real quick report here. I want to thank Mr. Daniel and the maintenance crew and Eric Dillon as well. They met with me actually the day I went in the hospital with my ulcer problem at Liberty High School, and we looked at a number of trees that need to be removed. And they have been removed now, and they did an excellent job. And I really appreciate all the hard work that you guys put in that. It really changed the look of the school. It improved the safety of kids coming on the new route around the school, and it really hopefully keep that cleaned up as we go forward in the spring and stuff. It looks good. Also, if you don't know, they did put new canopies at Trap Hill for the bus and for the student pickup. Those have been completed, and they look really nice, in excellent shape. And lastly, I just wanted to, I've been out to schools looking at different things and stuff while it was off. And our maintenance crew and the janitors have done an outstanding job in snow removal and ice. And, you know, we had, in our area, we had snow, and then we had rain, and then we had ice, and then snow back. And for the most part, all of our parking lots are clean, sidewalks are clean, at least in our area that I've seen. And so that's a lot of work, and I really appreciate all their hard work doing that to get everything ready so we could have school today. Thank you.
Dr. Starcher? Oh, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. I would echo what Mr. Snuffer just said. Last week was obviously challenging. We hoped to be in school, and we didn't quite make it with students, although staff was able to come in later in the week. But I just want to publicly thank Gary Daniel, our maintenance department, and our custodians for the work they did last week and the work they continue to do this week so that we can be in school. I also want to thank, I know Mr. Dillon's not here, and Mr. Daniel is here, so I want to publicly it takes a team to run a school system, and Mr. Daniel is a tremendous team player, so thank you to him for that help. Today we had our pre-construction meeting for Park Phase 2, so we are set, barring any problem, we are set to begin the 60 days of demolition at Park on February 3rd. Reclaim is the contractor, so we have 60 calendar days to complete the demo, and then Radford and Radford will start on that Phase 2 construction. So that contract is a 270-day contract, but we were able to have pre-construction, so we're moving in the right direction there. I have a halfway highlights document copy for each of you. You'll remember we started this last year. I want to thank several directors, Ms. Hodges, Ms. Blankenship, Ms. Lewis. They put that together this year. This will go out. We just received it today, so they're looking at me like, I think they're surprised I'm handing it out. This is the first copy out, but we will get these out on Friday to our principals at the next leadership team meeting, and then they'll distribute those next week to our students. So we did receive that, and I want to thank them for putting that together. We did submit a safety grant yesterday. Mr. Dillon submitted that. The State Department of Education has 20 $50,000 grants available for safety purposes. That is not only available for public schools, but I mean, like the traditional public schools, but also charters. So we have more schools or systems to compete against now. But there are 20 grants, and we did apply for the maximum $50,000 amount. And we would use that to support 2 of the safety initiatives we're planning to proceed with this for the next school year. So we should know February 21st if we receive one of those grants. And I believe that's all I have. I do want to apologize for starting this board meeting late. I'm sure all of the Shady Spring residents understand the late start. It takes a while to get here, and we do certainly apologize. We all left in what we thought was plenty of time, but it didn't work out so well. So I want to just apologize for our lateness, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for hosting it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. No unfinished business. Policies and procedures. A, B, C, and D. Is there objection to approving those together?
I move that we approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New business. Consider approval of the request for exemption to the 4-year attendance requirements. Charles Fuller, Coordinator of Schools Counseling. You got anything to say? There you go.
Good evening, Superintendent Starcher, President Ford, board members. We're presenting to you 129 exceptions to the 4-year attendance request for seniors in Raleigh County. That's 16 from Shady Spring, 21 from Independence, 3 from Liberty, 83 from Woodrow. Also within there are 6 that please me that are option pathway students, 5 Woodrow Wilson and 1 Shady Spring that have completed their testing and only have their CTE courses remaining to graduate. So it would be 129 we submit for your approval.
Y'all have heard his recommendation. Do you have a motion?
I move we approve the requests for 4-year exemption that were submitted to us.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. B, consider approval of the MOU with New River Community and Technical College for, excuse my glasses, they broke. For dual credit classes. Ms. Starcher.
President Ford, board members, you will recall, I believe it was back in August that you first saw the dual credit pathways agreement between Raleigh County Schools and New River, particularly for the Academy of Careers and Technology and Liberty High School. This is an expansion of the dual credit pathways that would be available. You will see at the top or near the top, teacher education, therapeutic services, and hospitality and tourism. So this would simply be an expansion of what's already approved, and I would recommend it be approved as presented.
Y'all have heard the recommendation. Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Consider the approval of the incentive bonus for early retirement notifications. Ms. Samako.
Good evening, everyone. There are no changes in that incentive bonus request except for the fact that this year the date has been pushed to March 3rd. So notification by March 3rd.
I move we approve the incentive bonus for early retirement notification as was submitted to us.
Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the incentive pay for teacher completion of LETRS, professional learning. Dr. Starcher.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Board members, as part of the whole Science of Reading initiative in West Virginia, the State Department of Education is strongly encouraging school systems around the state to incentivize teachers and administrators who would complete the LETRS training. LETRS stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. Again, it stands for Language Essentials for Teachers of Reading and Spelling. It is intended to equip teachers with the skills needed to effectively teach language and literacy to all students, including those with challenges such as dyslexia. This is not a requirement, but it is a very time-intensive program. For teachers, the program has an approximate time length of 137 hours. Now, there are virtual classes that teachers, or virtual sessions, let me say that, virtual sessions that teachers will have to complete. In Raleigh County, my recommendation is that our teachers would be expected to complete those virtual sessions outside of the workday. There are 11 different models. Talking with the State Department today, there are 11 different models teachers can follow, but our teachers, we would expect them to complete it outside of the workday, whether that be in the evenings or on the weekends. They can choose which they would do, but it's 8 full days. Some could do it in full days, some could choose to do 16 half days, but it's 8 total days worth of classes, but then it's also approximately 58 hours of self-paced online units of study. So again, totaling about 137 hours. Teachers have 2 years to complete the program. We did a survey. Ms. Blankenship put a survey out last week, asked our elementary teachers, and I should say this is only for teachers of grades K-3. We had, including a handful of school administrators, we had 96 people indicate that they would be interested in completing this program. Now, the State Department of Education is heavily encouraging school systems to incentivize teachers to complete the program, and we understand it's many hours that teachers will be completing on their own time. And let me say, I think it goes without saying, but we simply don't have the substitute coverage we would need to give all of these teachers 8 full days of professional learning. That's why we are saying our model would be they would complete it in the evenings or on the weekend, but we would like to have your approval to pay them to do that. And what we have discussed is upon completion of the first volume, we would like to pay teachers, with your approval, $1,500. And then upon completion of the second volume, pay our teachers an additional $2,000. So that would be a total of $3,500 that the teachers would receive. They do have to, successfully complete each module, and we would like to draw up a contract similar to the one we did for the Masters in Literacy program, that should they accept this funding, that they would be obligated to remain a teacher in Raleigh County Schools for a set number of years, whether that be 3 years or 5 years. I think we could say that here tonight, but my recommendation would be a minimum of 3 years, and my recommendation would be that we would pay the $1,500 and $2,000 upon completion. But I would say, in terms of the funding, if all 96 people would participate, that would be a little in excess of $300,000 that we would be paying our teachers to complete the program. We do have approval from the West Virginia Department of Education to use our teacher leader induction funding. And so we have well more than $300,000 in that line. So we would like to use the teacher leader induction and then pay $1,500, $2,000, and expect teachers to remain with us for 3 years.
I'm sorry, but the acoustics are really bad, or my hearing is really bad. What funding we're trying to get that from?
The teacher leader and induction funding
Okay.
that we received.
Teacher leader, okay.
Yes.
It's vibration, okay. And we had a total of 96 individuals interested in it?
Interested. Now, let me say this. Just because they're interested in the program doesn't mean they're automatically in. The State Department will open, right now, the second window is open, for instance. Teachers have to register with the department to be enrolled in the program, and they may or may not be accepted. But
Okay.
we know we have 96 who've expressed interest in completing it. Now, when we sent the survey out, we certainly didn't say we're going to provide a monetary incentive for completion because we hadn't been before the board yet.
Right. So the State Department will track the progress of these individuals and then notify us when they complete the different modules correctly?
Correct. We will receive a report when our teachers complete it.
Okay. That's fine then.
So the State Department wants us to do that, but the only thing they want to do is monitor, right? They don't want to contribute any?
Oh, no, they're not contributing any funding to it. And to be honest, they didn't tell us how to incentivize. They just encouraged incentivization, if that's a word. But you could do that through professional learning days, or, like Z days, as we call them. You could pay them. You could have cohorts. You could do anything that you wanted. We truly don't believe we have enough subs to give these teachers 8 professional days. We just don't have that capacity.
Ms. Lively, you have something?
But they're not paying to incentivize, okay?
Right. If anyone, or you know of anyone who's completed a class, is it worthwhile? Is it something that
I do
does
know.
and, increases their ability in teaching and delivery of the curriculum?
I do know when I attended the WVASA conference in December, Dr. White from the State Department of Education, she was speaking about it. After her presentation, I was speaking with one of the directors in Putnam County. They are already using this and find it to be a very good tool or training, for their staff. That's all I know. I've only talked to them, and that was just in passing while we were there.
What if I just finish the first part and don't finish the second part? How does that affect my contract with us?
Well, my thought would be the contract, if you accept any funding from Raleigh County Schools, you have to work 3 years for Raleigh County Schools, whether you do Volume 1 or Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Okay. That makes sense. But if you got 2, I can see someone completing the first one and not completing the second one, what I'm saying. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, we have, I want to say, around 12 staff members who have already registered. There was the first round. There are 3 rounds for the letters training. The first round, the registration already opened and closed, and I believe we have 12 teachers enrolled, and at least 1 academic coach enrolled. And then the second window for enrollment for registering has already opened. Okay. So we have more registering, and I don't know that all 96 will end up doing it.
Right. Okay.
But given the cost and I felt like this should come before the board. And if you want to change what I'm recommending, that's fine. I just, the way we came up with the 1,500 and the 2,000, if you would like to know that, I took the 137 hours. We typically pay a stipend of $25 per hour for training, and that resulted at an amount of $34.25 for 137 hours of training. It would be $3,425. And then I just made it 3,500.
Any other questions?
Only question I have is, as we make the motion tonight, if we adopt this, if I make the motion to adopt it, what is your recommendation, 3 years or 5 years, as far as the contract they entered into with us to receive the funds?
My recommendation is 3 years.
3 years? Okay.
Because
That-
they
that-
have
that's-
2 years to complete it,
Uh-huh.
and then it would be 3 years on top of that. That's a 5-year commitment on the part
Right.
of a teacher. So
Okay.
that's why I chose that.
Okay. With that said, I will make a motion to, we adopt the LETRS professional learning module from the State Department. Will incentivize the teachers or the administrators who take the program with a $1,500 stipend after the first half, and then a $2,000 stipend after the second half, and that with the knowing that they will sign a 3-year retention contract with the Raleigh County Board of Education.
Do I have a second? Motion's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration of personnel. Approve superintendent's recommendations for 24-25.
Good evening again. We do have 2 adjustments on these recommendations. On page 3, under the aid section C, remove the first line, Tina Shaver. And then on page 5, under C, the effective date needs to be changed from January 6, 25 for Jonathan Martin to January 7th due to inclement weather.
Mr. Ford, my recommendation is as presented with the changes noted by Ms. Simonko.
Okay, y'all heard the recommendation. Have a motion. Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. That's all we have on this part of the meeting. We'll take a brief intermission, very brief, and then we'll get into our LSIC meetings. Thank you. continue with our LSIC meetings. You know, the purpose of these meetings is to bring stakeholders together to discuss school performance, identify areas for improvement to enhance the educational experience for all the students. We look forward to hearing from all of the schools tonight. And the first on our list is Shady Spring High School.
Good evening, Board of Education members, Dr. Starcher. My name is Carrie Vickers. I'm the principal of Shady Spring High School. I would like to thank the members of my LSIC for being here. We have our faculty representatives, Mr. Fairs and Mr. Fama, and our parent representative, Courtney McGinnis. We have several other members that could not make it for various reasons. We do have a home girls basketball game tonight. Several had weather-related concerns, and exams start tomorrow. So, so we had several issues that kept some of our people at home, but I do appreciate those that came out. So, like I said, thank you so much for being here and for hearing about the concerns and the accomplishments of our school. We're very proud at Shady Spring High School. We have a lot of things we celebrate, and we always want to continuously grow and get better. I know you guys have a copy of our executive summary that our LSIC worked on whenever we met back in October. If you look at our SAT school day data, you will notice that our percentage of proficient students, school average, did go down in every area, and that was something that concerned us. When we as teachers and staff talked about those reasons, like, we definitely started asking questions like root causes, like, why did this happen? Why did we see these decreases? And we definitely identified several reasons, and I will talk about more of that as we go on. But the one thing that was common is we don't like to see that. We are definitely very achievement oriented at Shady, and we are very competitive, and we definitely don't like to see any kind of drop at all. So I will get into more of that as we go along. So our major concern for the 2024-2025 school year is student achievement. We want to see those numbers go up. The drop in test scores was very concerning to all of our stakeholders. So our focus this year has been on standards-based instruction. And one of the things that we have really appreciated this year is the use of PSAT benchmarks. If you know anything about high school testing, before there wasn't any kind of benchmark, and there's no testing on the 9th and 10th grade level that gives us any kind of data. So from 8th grade to 11th grade, there wasn't any kind of testing that allowed us to see where our kids were. So in 11th grade, they just took the SAT, and we prayed that it was, there was some kind of connection. Now we have the PSAT benchmark that allows us to see how our students are progressing, and we're testing them in the fall and the spring of their 9th and 10th grade year, and also their 11th grade, the 11th grade year they take it in the fall. So we have that measure to see where they're at, and we have that data from the October benchmark. We know where our kids are at, and the teachers have taken that data and they have given it to the students, and not only have the teachers worked with that data, our students have worked with it as well. They have looked at their scores, they know where they have to get in order to be proficient, and they also know where they have to get in order to be promise eligible. Because as you know, the SAT, once you reach a certain score, you become eligible for the promise, which provides $5,000 per year in college money. And making college more accessible and attainable for our students is definitely a goal of ours as well. So we've got that with the use of data analysis. And then celebrating student success and growth. Once our students see progress towards those goals, definitely acknowledging that, acknowledging it with our teachers, celebrating those steps and milestones towards meeting our goals. Because, we don't want to beat our people down with negatives all the time. We want to celebrate where we see that progress. So the next part says identify what the Board of Education can do to assist your school in providing high quality education for your students. Under curriculum, one of the areas that we talked about last year was the foreign language program. And I want to take this moment to thank you for approving proximity for our Spanish students. One of the concerns that our students had was they lack of certified Spanish teacher. And if there is not, we do not have a lineup of certified Spanish teachers coming in anywhere. So that's, even if we wish all day for that, we're not gonna get it. So you all allowing us to use proximity learning, which provides a live certified Spanish teacher with a facilitator in the room, gives our students that connection and that instruction that they so desperately needed. And so I want to say thank you, and our students say thank you. We had a lot of relieved students and parents when they found out that that was going to be an option second semester. As far as for our ask wish list on the curriculum, what we would ask for is more, for the SAT, an SAT boot camp training program, and it's to help our teachers and students better prepare for the SAT. And we've talked to Dr. Starcher and Ms. Hodges about this. They're aware of it, and it's something that they have definitely looked into. And so I'm just, saying this, this is one of the wishes of our faculty and students in the LSIC. Staff development. Our LSIC and our service personnel was very, not vocal, but very strongly felt that small group, those kinds of sessions would be beneficial. And our faculty felt like that as well. The small group networking type professional development where they had time to practice the professional development that they were getting would be beneficial. Under personnel, one of the positions that we really do miss is our CIS coordinator position. That person that has eyes on our students and can meet their social emotional needs and identify areas that they have. We definitely would like to keep as many employees as we can to keep our current level of rigor in AP honors and electives. One concern that our band teacher brought to us, who is also on our LSIC, Mr. Fama, is the need for a choir teacher. He said very few schools of our size in the state do not have a separate choir teacher. Under facilities, one of the things we would like to have is a visitor's press box. For years, we had a visitor's press box, and that was one of the things that we asked for last year. We would like to continue to ask for that. We have a variety of media and people that come in and cover our football games, and to be able to accommodate all of those people comfortably is very difficult, especially for our bigger games. So having a visitor's press box again would be very nice. And long term, we would like to be able to update our field house and locker rooms, as they are one of our more rundown type facilities at our school. And also, our LSIC did discuss several of our security concerns, but we are always looking to improve security, and I think our central office has done a fantastic job of addressing the ever-present worry of security and being ready for the worst-case scenario. And it's sad that we have to feel this way, but I shared this with the central office. My sons were at a basketball game in Bluefield, and when they had an active shooter in the parking lot, my kids were there when they went on lockdown. And one of the scariest phone calls you can get as a parent is from your kid who is hiding underneath a set of bleachers saying, "Mom, there's an active shooter here. We're in lockdown." And Sam's in the locker room, and that is something. And you realize, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "We're doing exactly what we've practiced. I'm in a safe spot. I've got a place. I know where the exit is if I need to run." So, I mean, it's great that he knows how to do that, but it's also really disheartening that he knows that so well. Anyway, so identify your school's biggest accomplishments for this year. I have to share my most recent one, or our most recent one, I guess. In our 4th month attendance report, Shady Spring High School had a 94.36 attendance rate, and I am so proud of that. We challenged our kids to hit 95%. They got so close, so close. So I was very proud of the 94.36. Maybe next month. Our parent representatives feel that the online communication has gotten better at the school. The student representative feels like positive engagement from the student body has improved. Teacher representatives feel that there has been an increase in enthusiasm. And our staff representative said that he is thankful to have a full crew of custodians. And we get several compliments on how well the school looks and how clean it is. So listening to feedback from our stakeholders highlights what I believe to be our greatest accomplishment: fostering a school culture where students, staff, and families feel genuinely welcome. Throughout the year, we've hosted various events and activities that celebrate our students' diverse talents. We've had students that have been published and they are selling their book on Amazon. We have FFA hosting ham, bacon, and egg shows where they raise their own meat and they sell it. And we have students that drive stock cars on the weekends and compete racing cars. And we have U.S. Presidential Scholar nominees. We have our band that wins all of these accolades and accomplishments. We have state champion golf team. We have a state champion basketball program. So we feel like we do promote and our students to be diverse and celebrate all of their accomplishments. And we feel that by doing that, we've cultivated a sense of inclusivity and that has positively impacted both student attendance and academic success. So overall, our LSIC, our biggest thoughts as far as future concerns, we discussed Shady Spring Road construction and the worries about how that might impact our school schedule in the future. We've had a few times that the ACT bus has been late getting back, which has delayed our dismissal by 10 minutes or so. We hope that that never gets worse, but that is a concern, if that would ever get worse. And one of the issues that the student representative brought up is with the Chromebook deployments and whether or not that there could be an arrangement for maybe before school started to have a day where kids could come in that have college courses, Spanish or dual credit, to come in and maybe sign their AUP and maybe get a Chromebook before that, because they have to start those classes pretty much immediately once. But that was the concern the student representative brought. But overall, I feel like we're rolling pretty good. We know we've got some challenges, but Shady's never backed down from a challenge, so we feel pretty good. So does anybody have any questions?
Only thing I would have is, it is a significant reduction in your test scores. Well, all except for science, that's kind of a non-thing, but your math scores way down and the readings and thing. You said you were going to start using those benchmarks. Well, it's January, so you've already used them, I'm assuming. So are you seeing progress in those benchmarks now?
We have a baseline from the October benchmark, and then we are going to test again in April, and then we will see how the students have grown from that.
From that, okay. Because you're going to be, by April, it's going to be kind of a little late because you're going to be taking the test right after that. So if you don't have progress, it's going to be.
the benchmarks for our 9th and 10th graders and then the 11th graders. But our students have looked at their data and they have set goals.
Okay.
They know where they're at. And our teachers have been able to identify which sections of the PSAT that the students, like if it's algebraic thinking, then they can group those students into small groups and give them assignments that focus on that need, that area.
Okay. I just, it is, I mean, your scores have always been excellent, and that's kind of a eye-awakening to see them reduce like that. So, but, if you're, monitor them and do the best you can, but they do need to be improved.
I agree.
Any other questions? Back several years ago, the Raleigh County Board of Education came up with a program where they recognize schools' campus. It's called the Campus Awards. And we're going to give you something else to brag about tonight. Shady Spring High School got first place. And I didn't vote on it either. Thank you, Shady Spring High School. Shady Spring Middle School. Okay, it's all yours.
Okay, I'm Sarah Davis, principal at Shady Spring Middle School. I have Jeff Hayworth, my assistant, Jamie Whitaker, she's our finance secretary. I have Danny Calloway, she is a teacher and parent also, and we have Anna Calloway as our student representative. A lot of our other teachers and parents, we had a girls basketball game tonight, a boys basketball game tonight. The high school was playing in Princeton, so that kind of encompassed pretty much everybody else we have. And a few got stuck in traffic, so I told them just not to worry about it. So they turned around, and I said, that's fine. So, which I'm sure you guys experienced that today. So we didn't worry about having them come on. You all have our summary in front of you. We'll start with our math. In 2023, we're at 35% proficient, and we raised to 37. Our reading was 50, and we raised to 51. And our science was 41, but we dropped to 35. And that is one of the things that we're focusing on this year to try to raise percent proficient with our science. And we know a lot of times, which most textbooks, if you gauge the reading level, it is higher than where the students are. So, and in science especially, when you're reading the text, it's hard for the kids to understand. So we're really working with some different things to try to make it a little more user-friendly for them. Again, our major concerns, we had the low test scores in our science proficiency. Attendance, which I'm sure is a lot of other schools we're working on, and some disruptive behaviors in the classroom. Some things we're working on for attendance and our disruptive behavior goes along with our PBIS and our CHAMPS program. So we're hoping that kind of encompasses everything, wanting kids to be there. We have 9 weeks incentives, semester incentives. A lot of my teachers have pop-up incentives, so the kids don't know when it's coming, and they'll shoot Mr. Hayworth and I an email so we know where everybody's at. So the kids don't know when it's going to happen. We try to be very positive about attendance. even if, we have students come in tardy. Our teachers are really great about not saying, oh, well, gee, you showed up late. They came, though. And I think a lot of times, when you make that comment to kids, well, we didn't think you were going to come. So our teachers try to be positive to them. Well, you know what, you at least came, you showed up. So I think that kind of helps some of them. They don't feel beat down when they walk in. A lot of times it's not their fault if they've gotten there late. So we try to have a very positive climate with the staff and the students and a good relationship. Our counselors are great about talking to the students and keeping in touch with the teachers to see why they might have an absence, if it's something, with transportation, or, we had one student, his clothes, he couldn't get washed. So, Miss Redden, well, both of our Reddens, both counselors are the Reddens, purchased him some new clothes, and we were able to get some things washed, and then he started coming. So it was just a matter of us talking to him and seeing what he needed, and we were able to help that way. So I think a lot of times, just if you're able to talk and communicate with your students, you know what they need. And that, the PBIS goes along the same way. We have our acronym that the kids hopefully know. But I'm not going to lie, if you would ask me in the hallway, I freeze at stuff like that, and I would go, and I'd have to think a minute, because I don't know. It's like when somebody asks you something point blank, you're like, oh my gosh. But they're doing a really great job with it. We're not completely there yet by no means, but we're slow and steady. We're wanting to make sure we're implementing it correctly and with fidelity. So that's why I think we're a little behind in, versus some schools. But again, my teachers wanted to make sure we had it laid out and everyone had the same game plan and we knew where we were going with it. So we're making sure we have that in place. Some things we plan to correct, again, focusing on the attendance. We have our attendance team and our behavior team. Both of those kind of go along with each other, again, with our PBIS, our school-wide expectations. A lot of the teachers reteach. They're really great about APL. Ms. Calloway that I have with me and Ms. Vance, one of my special ed teachers, they're really great about doing the reteaching and the retraining. If we don't do it right, we do it again, and especially after being off for 3 weeks. Procedures. Kids forget. I forget. I'll ask Miss Hodges or Miss Lewis, I'm like, how do I do that again? You need a little refresher course, and ours are really great, to do that because they are still kids. For our science scores, we are integrating science, which all subjects can be integrated together. I mean, if you have a science book, you could teach reading and math with it. So we're doing it across the curriculum. I have a great art teacher, our PE teachers. Our related arts, we're doing the project Lead the Way, and we have flight and space, app creators, and computer science. Miss Mitchell and Miss Barnes are working on our flight and space, and the kids love it. It's very hands-on. They're up, moving around, but then that's also a lot of science and reading and comprehension that they throw in. Our careers class that Vicki Osborne does, I think I told Dr. Starcher the other day, it's like home ec and shop class, what we've kind of done. If you come in Miss Osborne, one day she's decorating a cake. They were using a drill to build some Christmas trees one day. She even bought some babies when they do like a infant daycare where they had, showing them how to bathe them correctly. And we've got WVU 4-H comes in and they learn how to cook and smoothies and nutrition. So she's really throwing the science in there. The kids really enjoy that. It's like I said, where it's very hands-on. A lot of them can relate to it more than just on pencil and paper. We have a lot of small group we do. Our 6th and 7th grade, which I have, all my teachers are great, but if you would come watch Miss Calloway or Miss Facilio in math with their small group instruction, Mr. Hayworth will go in Miss Facilio's room. And I think a lot of times middle school, you can do small group instruction in middle school. It's not just for elementary school, and they are a prime example of what you can do with small group instruction and using the data they get from iReady and part of the new ALEC program that they have. but it's very hands-on and moving around, and that's just another layer that helps the kids, learn. We do our simple solutions, which is a spiral review. Getting better with that. It was, last year they had a lot of new things introduced with them, the teachers, but now they're, getting the flow of it. So we're doing that. Sorry, I keep saying we're just very consistent in our discipline. We try to be with interventions and consequences. Again, with our PBIS, that's why we're making sure we're all on the same page. So when a student goes from 6th grade to 7th grade to 8th grade, we already know, they know those expectations already. Some of the things that could help, just for curriculum, we would, maybe some more PD on the science labs. One of our meetings, Mrs. Hodges had given us some information, so I'm going to try to buy some science labs for our teachers. That way they have a little more hands-on things. So any kind of professional development like that would help. And with the curriculum. Personnel, we're very lucky at Shady. We're almost fully staffed. We do have a couple subs, but I have teachers coming next year, that have been hired. So we have a good staff that works together and does really well with the kids. The one thing I had put was a custodian. We have a half-time and to have a full-time. We only have one day custodian, so, we thought we'd put that in there, especially here with the snow and everything. But we have 3 full-time and 1 half-time. But so other than that, our personnel, we're in good shape. We got new floors in the office and the library this year, and then we also were able to have them painted, which that was great. We had this brand new floor that looked awesome, so the paint really helped. The flooring was nice, but that yellow paint just didn't quite set it off. So we've got that, and that was great. We have Golden Horseshoe winners last year. We had a first place math field day. We had young writers who were first place in 6th and 8th grade. Last year, our county champs were volleyball, girls and boys cross country, girls track, and girls basketball. This year, we're doing the same with soccer. We won counties again, and boys and girls cross country. We have students already winning for math field day. We're working on our spelling bee. We had our WVSSAC academic achievement winners. Most of them couldn't come today because they play sports or their siblings do, but that's a great honor to have. We had 2 students for the band, and then one, Kyle Millay, and then our track team. So we were very proud of those students for that. We'd like to thank the board for the new floors and the paint that we, received. That, a fresh coat of paint, always does a great job. It perks everything up. We would like to maybe next year, where we still have carpet in the band and the choir rooms, to have that removed and put flooring like we have in the office, just because the carpet's been there since the school. So, you can only clean things so many times and vacuum, but we're very appreciative of everything that we've had. And we have, Mr. Wizenot's been great with our furniture and tables. When you have different furniture that the teachers can utilize, Ms. Facilio, she has the tables that you can write on, and the kids love that. Ms. Callaway utilizes different tables, and if how you set up your room and the kids move around really helps a lot, I think, with how you teach. And we've been very lucky. If we've needed something, we've been able to get it. So thank you all very much.
Any questions?
Everything looks really good. The only thing I was going to comment on, and I could do it for every school, I guess, but we spent a lot of time and a lot of energy on incentivizing students to attend school. School attendance, Ms. Lacey can disagree with me, is not a student problem, it's a parent problem. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, a 5th, 6th grader, 7th grader, if mom and dad says you get your butt up and go to school, you're going to go to school. There's not any question about it. But if mom and dad don't get out of bed that day, they lay around all day, it's hard for little Ricky to get up and go to school because he's got to do it himself. If he don't do it, no one else is going to do it. No one cares. So, the State Department, everybody kind of always talks about these programs for students, and I'm a true believer that it's a parent problem. And I don't know how we address that. I mean, we incentivize the kids and hope that they'll have enough energy and gumption to do it themselves, but it's really not fair to the kids. But that, I admire your efforts and try to do the best you can to get there, but it is a hard problem.
Anybody else? Your school is located on one of the busiest highways in Raleigh County.
Yes.
And we appreciate what your staff does to keep the campus beautiful. So that's why
Thank
you're
you.
getting the first place award for the middle school.
Thank you very much.
Sarah, your dad would be proud. Okay, welcome, Daniels.
Thank you very much. Welcome, board members and Dr. Starcher and all of our wonderful guests and visitors. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. I would like to take just a moment here. If you don't know me, I'm Tammy Akron. I'm the principal from Daniels Elementary, and I'd love to introduce my amazing LSIC members, the ones that were able to make it tonight because lots weren't. But we have Melissa Brammer. She's multi-cat at Daniels. Juanita Johnson, she teaches 5th grade at Daniels. We have Linda McGuffin, she is one of our wonderful aides. Jordan Wright, she is our counselor. On the next row back, we have Jimmy Graham. He is from Graham Excavating. He's one of our at-large members. We have Kathy Clifford. She is one of our parent representatives. And then Xenia Snuffer, she's a parent representative as well. So we really appreciate them. So I wanted to take a moment just to celebrate them, for them taking the time out tonight to travel over here because they are so invested in Daniels and what we're doing there. So we appreciate them very much. So I'll jump right in. I want to start off by just talking kind of about our performance measures on the general summative assessment. Last year, and it's in the booklet that I gave you there, page 1, last year in math, our percentage of proficient students in math was 51%. On the 24 West Virginia General Sum, we increased that from 51% to 52%, so we were glad to see an increase there. In 2023 for reading, we had 49% proficient. Last year in reading on the general sum, we had a good increase. We had 53% proficient on last year's West Virginia general sum. Science, which we'll talk about some more here in just a moment. Science in 2023, we had 43% proficient, and we saw a decline in 5th grade proficiency in science to 33% proficient, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go through the remainder of the report. So what are our major concerns for the 2024-2025 school year? Our major concern for the year continues to be attendance. We ended the year last year with 93.76% attendance rate, which was an increase from the year prior. But it's our goal to reach 95%, so we, of course, recognize that there is still a lot of work to be done. Another concern that we have is, of course, the decrease in science proficiency last year. Even though we had begun a partnership with the State Department, Project Lead the Way, we still saw a decrease. We are highlighting, this year we're highlighting science standards at all grade levels and better utilizing our STEAM teacher through teacher collaboration to build and undergird science concepts and skills at all grade levels. We've also seen an increase this year in discipline issues on the bus. So what is your plan to correct or address the major concerns for the 2024-25 school year? Regarding attendance, we are continuing our incentives that were put in place last year. We have incentives for 9 weeks, semester, and year-long. But we've also added a weekly incentive that we call Friday Fun 15. During this time every Friday, students who have been present all week participate in whole class activities that do not include technology or iPads. We make an announcement at 2:45 every Friday that just says, all right, everybody, it's time for the Friday Fun 15. And during that time, the whole class, the teacher included with the students, do a fun activity. Maybe it's hangman or heads up, 7-up. They may do quiet ball. It's something like that where the kids get to interact with each other, but the teacher is actively engaged in it as well, and they really love it. And the question might be, so what about the kids that do not get to participate? Because if they've missed any that week, they don't get to participate. But what we have taught our kids and the way we approach it with our students is if you didn't get to participate this week, that's okay. It starts over again on Monday. Just cheer on your friends that do get to participate this week, because we all have times that we're not going to get to do because things come up. And they've embraced that. They cheer for their friends, and they're okay if they don't actively get to participate in it that week. They cheer on their friends, and they know that it starts over on Monday and they have a chance to participate next week. In addition to Friday Fun 15, we've added in our front den area what we call the Attendance Wall of Fame. And essentially we print off for each grade level, pre-K through 5, we print off their attendance percentage for the week. And we have it posted in the den area. The way we do things at Daniels is when parents come in the building to sign students in or sign students out, they're caught. We keep them in the front den area. They're kind of caught there in the man trap. So while they're waiting on their student, they have full view of weekly attendance for each grade level. It's right there, so they can see how it changes from week to week. The grade level that had the highest percentage for the week is always highlighted, so that draws parents' attention. And it spurs conversation with their student. Well, I see, well, first grade had the highest attendance this week. You're in second grade. What can we do maybe to help with that? And it changes every week, like I said, obviously, as we update it. And teachers, we announce the weekly winner, but teachers every Monday morning, because they're competitive, teachers are competitive. I don't know if you guys know that, but they are. And so the teachers all take their classes down to the den area every Monday and look at that to see how they compare to other grade levels. So it's some fun, friendly competition in the building. So we're hoping to see that will really increase attendance. And lastly, the attendance team is has worked to develop an attendance system of support that specifically targets our Tier 2 and Tier 3 interventions. And I'm not going to go through reading all that for you guys, but it is in the booklet, the purple pages in there if you guys want to take another look or closer look at that. So our attendance team is working on that. And of course, it's a living document, so it's always changing. We're always revisiting it. What's working now? What can we work to adjust? Those kind of things. The next concern that we had, one of the other concerns that we had talked about, of course, was bus discipline. So to address that, PBIS, we've instituted PBIS in the building, and it has expectations for all. We have expectations for all areas. We review those, every morning. We go over it with our kids. We teach it with fidelity. And so we really hit the bus expectations through our PBIS program. In addition to that, we conduct Best on the Bus, where every month the driver of each bus chooses one student that they think exhibited the best bus behavior for that month. And then we get those kids together. We make a big deal about it. They get a prize, they get a certificate, they get their picture taken. We put it on Facebook. So it's just a way to kind of celebrate those students who are making those good choices on the bus and setting that good example. And also it reinforces that behavior on the bus is as important as behavior in the school, and it helps the bus drivers be equally involved in that. So they know that we value them and we value their input. So we include them in all of the bus discipline issues, including the Best on the Bus program. Lastly, science, like I said, we don't like to decrease in anything. we want to continue to move onward and upward. So when we saw the decrease in our science scores last year, we really have dug in and tried to figure out what happened with that, because like I said, we entered into a partnership with the State Department, Project Lead the Way. So we had hoped that that would have a positive impact, and I think it did in some regard, because we focused highly on engineering last year, and that's what Project Lead the Way is. It's career exploration and engineering, those kind of things, and we were successful with that. But I think with that, we did not focus enough on the other elements of science, the tables and the charts, and and really breaking down that data. And so this year we are really hitting that so that we have a better balanced approach to science. So we recognize that through last year's partnership with WVDE, engineering was the focus, which is not directly assessed on the general summative assessment. This year we are equally emphasizing the more quantitative elements of science that are more evident on the general sum, therefore embracing a more balanced approach to science overall. So we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're trying to figure out how do we best balance and give our students the best experience with science so they can really embrace all of the elements of it. On the next page, it says identify what the Board of Education can do to assist your school in providing a high-quality education for your students. With curriculum, we appreciate the PD for teachers and staff regarding both the new math series and iReady. We appreciated that. That really has helped a lot. Regarding staff development, we're always pursuing additional staff development in regard to trauma-sensitive classroom practices at Daniels, and are thankful for the UCARU program that's been shared with all teachers to both educate about trauma and prepare to appropriately interact with students of trauma. With our changing demographic, we are enrolling more students who fall into this category, and our teachers want to be best prepared to meet the needs of all of our students, including those who have suffered trauma. We are also appreciative of county PD funds that are allocated to help us train our staff on specific needs for our students. We appreciate that. Regarding personnel, thank you for the continuation of our on-site SysOp. That's always such a blessing. The addition of another counselor, social worker, or CIS would be greatly appreciated and utilized, as we do have one counselor servicing all of our students. As far as facilities go, we appreciate the fresh coat of paint on the railing out front and the train on the side area. It made a huge difference. Also, the installation of the gate on the back fence that granted us entry to the evacuation route if kids would be in that area if there was an emergency. We also appreciate the ongoing installation of the new sinks in the student restrooms. We're super excited about that. The kids are loving it. We are especially appreciative of the new playground project that is soon to be underway for Daniels. We could benefit from broadening the parent pickup road to allow for maybe 3 lanes. Also, maybe removal of the middle island area to make for more parking. Painting the exterior doors and the entrance areas, they're badly faded, and then maybe a fresh coat of paint in the hallways. Identify your school's biggest accomplishment for the year. So we've celebrated this as a staff, and I want to celebrate it with you guys. Our general summative assessment last year, they were the highest general summative assessment scores for Daniels since 2016, 2017. So we've exceeded pre-COVID test scores. So I'm very excited about that, and I know there's still lots of work to be done. We know that, but it's always good to highlight the hard work that our teachers are doing, so we're very proud of them and proud of our students. We are continuing our partnership with the State Department regarding their CTE initiative and Discover Your Future movement. This partnership does expose our students to science and engineering opportunities and sparks their interest regarding those fields. Additional accomplishments, we did have 3 students that placed at the county math field day, 1 first, 1 third, and 1 honorable mention. We had 2 students who placed first in the county science fair, as well as 5 additional students who placed second in the county science fair. And our volleyball team finished second in the county at the sports tournaments. Please feel free to provide any additional information you wish to share with the board to extend the CTE initiative and expose our students to additional future opportunities. We hosted our College and Career Week in October with daily presenters who spoke to our 5th grade students and shared their personal journeys, exposed them to opportunities in different fields of work, and discussed necessary steps for lifelong success. At Daniels, we really do try to take a balanced approach and make sure that our students are all well-rounded and they're exposed to lots of different areas of interest to best prepare them for their future. You'll notice also in the book, and we do not have to go over this greatly right now, but there are 2 additional data pages in the back, and that's just a breakdown of our iReady diagnostic that the students recently took. On the one page, it says mid-year iReady grade level breakdown. That's the middle of the year last year. The bottom one is middle of the year this year, because we like to look at students individually. We like to look at them whole class. We like to look at their performance this year, but we also like to compare them over time. So we track our students over time as well, and that's what those 2 charts are. And then on the last page, the iReady historical data comparison, kind of the same thing, but you can see that it's color-coded. So for example, the kindergarten class that's yellow, 22, 23, we kind of track those kids over time because we want to see if they are at a certain % proficient at this grade level, how are they doing at the next grade level, and so on and so forth. And then we look at that group of students individually and as a whole group, and we try to determine, what is causing, if there is a step back, we don't have as many students mastering at middle of the year, why might that be? And you'll notice, for example, when we had our most recent PDs, you'll notice 2nd grade last year, they were 1st grade in 22-23. They increased last year 23-24, but then at 2nd grade in math, now they're at 29%. And so we took some time analyzing that as well as the others. And through doing that, we've kind of determined that with the new math series, which we like, we think it's beneficial, but we noticed the pacing is different. So some of the things that the students had covered by this point last year, the math series is paced differently, so they haven't covered those particular things yet. So then we were able to take that information, break down the science textbooks, and they've paced it out for the rest of the year to make sure that they cover all of the concepts and things in a timely manner. So that's what all of that is. I think that covers everything. So I don't know if you guys have any questions.
Any questions?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. The trauma team thing you have on there, I mean, that's real.
Yes.
That's a real concern, and especially in West Virginia, Raleigh County.
Yes.
With that. So you said you had training. Is the teachers going through a different training session with that, or how are you doing that for the trauma?
Okay, so that's a really good point. So Raleigh County Schools, Mr. Sexton has implemented countywide UCARU. So it's a whole program that, and every teacher is getting this training. It teaches them the science behind trauma, how it impacts their brain, how it changes their brain, their thinking over time, and how that can then impact their behaviors and the way they process things. And so through that training, it teaches the teachers that. It helps them look at things a little bit differently. So if a student is coming in and they're in a bad mood or those kind of things, it's very important to recognize that right off. And what we call it is get them out of their downstairs brain. So if we can recognize that right away and we don't just bring down the hammer, we try to figure out what's going on and address that. So we put different things in place, like we have a beginning of the day check-in, different programs like that, so that we can kind of capture them right there at the beginning. And then with the UCARU training, another thing that it does specifically is, unfortunately, children of trauma and just children in general, when they can't manage their emotions, sometimes they become physical. And I think the worst thing that you can ever do is, and I know sometimes it's necessary, the worst thing you can ever do is put your hands on a child. And I know that there's CPI and there are these different restraining techniques and they're necessary at times, but it's not something that we ever want to do. Once you've put your hands on a child for any reason, like you have damaged them and you've really damaged their trust for you. So with UCARU, what it does is it has the teachers get pads. So if the child is becoming physical, they just hold the pad so the teacher or the child can hit the pad or kick the pad. You don't push them with the pad. You don't do anything like that. It just gives them a method of release. And so, and it helps teachers because they don't have to just kind of stand there and be beat up. but it also protects, most importantly, protects the dignity of the child. And and what happens is over time the child gets that out, and then they're ready to talk or ready to they regulate themselves. And so that was implemented last year. And it's really made a big difference. So, like I said, all of the teachers are trained in it, and there's a teacher at every building that's trained in it that then can train additional teachers as they're hired. So it's an ongoing, perpetual method to deal with trauma, which, like you had mentioned, it's not going away. It's increasing.
And I think if you look at some of that trauma, you'll see that also comes into your attendance. Yeah. Kids who are under a lot of trauma are probably kids that also don't attend real well. And I saw a thing the other day, which I never thought about, but you were talking about, and I know you guys have different methods, but they have a quiet room. Yes. The kids, when have that, they're just, they don't have to, they just go to a quiet room and they can just sit there a little bit by themselves and just come down. I mean, they get so emotionally wrapped up, and part of that's from the support system at home and how they see everybody else deal with trauma.
Exactly.
So that's how they deal with it. So.
Yes.
It is an important thing, but I'm glad you're dealing with it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Do you all use the Handle with Care?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and we actually had a report of that today, and so that's another wonderful thing that's in place. And our resource officers, they're phenomenal to get that information to us so that we can best be prepared to be sensitive to that with our little guys, because we don't know what they're going through, but we just want to be sensitive to it so we can do the best that we can for each one of our students.
Anybody else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jen. Floor is all yours.
I don't know why I get so nervous every time I come to speak to you all, like I've never met you before. Whew. All right. I'm Kendra Arvon, the principal at Jen Elementary School. I'm here with several of our LSIC members. We have Amanda Miller and Tina Lilly, who are teachers at our school. Paul Prince, who is one of our fearless bus drivers. Tiffany Lucas, who is a parent. And Cody Lusk, who is a community member. We have several others who couldn't make it for various reasons. So we've had some really great things going on at Jen Elementary this year. Our volleyball team came in 4th place in the county. One of our 4th grade students placed 2nd at Math Field Day, and a 3rd grade student is representing us at the county spelling bee on January 30th. And I'm excited to see how he does. He's been really, really working hard for that. And I thought it was great that it was a 3rd grade student that's going. We had a really busy December, starting with our annual concert where our families and community members packed out the brand new gym over at the high school. We had a huge turnout and it was amazing. Our kids did such a good job. Our music teacher, Ann Adkins, put it together. We did holiday royalty. So they sang and danced to songs like from Elvis, the Jackson 5, Mariah Carey, all kinds of different things. It was really cool. We had a breakfast with Santa event where we served breakfast, created crafts, and had pictures of Santa, of course. And we had nearly 200 people show up to that event. So that was really great for our little community. We even had the Grinch that made an appearance at our school one day and kind of wreaked havoc in our classrooms, but the kids loved it, and it was just a really fun way to close out December before our extremely long winter break. All right, so as we begin comparing our data from 2023 to 2024, we did see some really great things, but we also saw some areas that need a little extra attention. For the last few years, our behavior goal has been focused on our school buses. We've seen a drop in these negative behaviors on the bus, which is great, but it's still an area of concern for us. One really great thing about this area in particular is we have 2 students that have stepped up on one of our buses and decided to take it into their own hands that they were going to get this bus under control. 2 little girls, they started a sticker reward system, and it's not perfect, but they're doing a really great job with it. That bus has even earned prizes from the office. They've earned free ice cream, which is Smart Snack approved ice cream. But they've been doing very well. So I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of the leadership of those 2 little girls. They were not asked to do that. They just decided they were tired of their bus being out of control, and they stepped up to handle that. So another area of concern for us is attendance, which I know is an area of concern across the whole county. Specifically, we are concerned with our unexcused absences. Last year, Gent Elementary accumulated 1,079 unexcused absences. That was 31% of all of our absences. So this year, that's what we're really focusing on. We know it's going to take some time to try to get that under control. So we have a small goal this year of lowering that from 31% to 25%. We are doing that by parent education. We had a booth set up for attendance at our open house, and in order for students to get their prize before they left open house, parents had to go to that booth, hear our talk about attendance, get our flyer about attendance, and then their student could earn the sticker for that booth. We also are following the MTSS process. After 3 and 5 unexcused absences, they either get a phone call or we talk in person. And after 6, we start the SAT process. So currently at our school, we have 292 unexcused, which compared to this time last year is quite significantly lower. So we're happy with that, but of course, that's not the end goal. As far as academics are concerned, we grew in both math and reading, but we did fall 3 points in science. Math and reading, they're pretty easy to compare apples to apples because you follow the same kids from 3rd grade to 5th grade. With science, you get a different set of kids every year, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. What we've decided to do, along with many of the other elementary schools in the county, is really focus on charts and graphs, being able to read them, understand them, analyze them, and utilize them. Sorry, my mouth is going a little dry. So that is the emphasis that we have in science. Not only is that a big 5th grade skill, but it's a life skill that students need to be able to understand what they're seeing and the data that's presented to them. We're not just focusing on that in 5th grade, we're focusing on that school-wide at developmentally appropriate levels. So we're hoping to see an increase in our science scores for this next year. As far as things that we think could help us at Gent Elementary, our small class sizes have been the greatest benefit to our students. We all know research shows smaller class sizes, more individualized instruction. It really, really benefits our kids. As our class sizes grow, our teachers are spreading themselves thin, trying to get in all of their intervention and things like that. So we would love to see a reading and math interventionist, and I know that you probably hear that from many schools, and I know that might be a pipe dream, but I thought I would mention it. Also, as far as facilities are concerned, one big thing that we would like would be a restroom for our autism room and possibly our pre-K room. Right now, particularly in our autism room, many of our students are self-contained, and we have to take them down the hall to the shared bathroom. We also have a lot of potty training going on in autism and in pre-K, So our changing station is in another area. So that pulls out aides from the classroom, which takes away, helpful hands in those situations. So that would be one wonderful thing at our school. One safety concern that I have is about our school zone. I don't know if you all have driven through Gent recently, but our signals are pretty outdated. Our lights are we have one light on each sign and it's very small. Especially coming from the direction of Shady toward Gent, you come up on that school zone over a hill, you don't see it coming. So we have a big issue with people speeding through our school zone all the time. So if we could maybe take a look at that, see if there's a way to update the markings at our school zone, we would really appreciate that. Some things that we're very thankful to our board and our county for. We have brand new windows in our building. They look fantastic and they are functional, and that is big. So we are very grateful for that. Our parking lot over the summer, all the potholes were patched. Their restriping took place. Part of the circle around the building was widened a little bit, so that was helpful for our buses. So we are very grateful for that. And as a principal, those are two really big, exciting things to me. For our teachers and students, the most exciting thing was our Promethean boards. So we got a Promethean board in every classroom, and they are amazing. They have really brought us into the 21st century, even though we're a quarter of the way through it. So we're just happy to be here. But our techs and our TIS did a wonderful job of getting those boards installed and teaching our teachers how to use them. And the kids have really taken to them, of course, because it's technology and kids can do anything with technology. So those are some things that are going on at Gent. And do you have any questions for us?
I will tell you, I did notice that Mr. Daniel took a note when you said school zones, okay? And in the future, since we have a new neighbor coming out there, maybe they set a deputy car right there. That would probably slow people down a whole lot in that area, I'd say. You'll find out that works a lot better than the sign when they're sitting there. I mean, I've watched the one, when the deputy sits down at Trap Hill and Liberty, you know what's going on. Everybody just stops. The signs can be blinking really hard, and people don't pay much attention to it. I will say this, that your math and reading scores are two of the highest that we've seen tonight. So congratulations about both of those. Very successful there. And so good job. And, Gent's a little school that's kind of out there, people kind of forget about, but it's a very pretty school, and you have a pretty campus there.
Yes.
And I know it's an older building, but we've done some stuff to it, and you guys are making good use of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
I'd just like to say, over the years, I have always been told that Gent is one of the best kept secrets in Raleigh County.
Yes.
And based on what you've said and all the good things you're doing and all that you're accomplishing, I think that's true. Good
Absolutely. Come out anytime. I know it's a trek out to Gent, and maybe not right now while we have 2 feet of snow, but once that comes down, come out and visit. It really is a great little school.
There's also a line there where it gets really bad, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll have nothing at my house in Maxwell Hill, and I'll get out to Gent, and I'm like, where am I? This is crazy. But thank you all very much.
Thank you. I think you got the biggest team of all the other schools tonight. Okay, it's all yours.
I just want to first say thank you all for asking us to host LSIC. We feel that we have the most amazing school, and we get excited when we get to show it off a little bit. So we just want to thank you. I know that it was hard getting here, and that was a little bit of an aggravation, but we thank you for letting us do this. I hope that tonight, I know that it was kind of rushed, but if you have a second, if you can go see our new spaces, if you don't feel like sticking around tonight, you're welcome anytime. Miss Hamrick was here a little early, so she got to see the kitchen. So anytime you want to come by, I would love to show you some of the classrooms and stuff. We're extremely proud of that. With me tonight is our LSIC team and a few of my fabulous staff members who just asked if they could help with food and things like that. I will say their names. So Tana Meadows is here. She's one of our bus drivers who is amazing. Miss Daniels, which you all recognized earlier. Amber Wilson, Krista Childers, Erica Simmerman, Josh Faber, Clarissa Sutton, Matthew Bolin, Amber Flowers, Holly Hill, Carla Campbell, Susie Vandal, Ronnie Holly, and Mark Campbell. Did I miss anybody? Oh, I am good. Okay, so that's some of our LSIC, and then a few of the staff members came, and I just asked them to stick around since they made food and all of that. I also just want to take a second to say Happy School Board Appreciation Month to you all. We do appreciate all you do for our county, and as a special present, I'm going to keep this really short and sweet because I know that I'm standing between you and your last LSIC long night of the year, so I'm going to do that just for you all. You have my LSIC report in front of you that we did together. I'm not a person to read it line by line. I trust that you can you glance through that. I'll highlight a few things, but if you have a question on any of that, you can stop me at any time. First of all, our general summative scores, we are extremely proud of our ELA growth from last year, and we realize that we have some work to do in math. We've already started that work by incorporating intervention group only in, focusing on math for the first 9 weeks, and then we did some of our work. We're doing math family nights. We're doing 2 at the end of January. And then Leanne Chesley is our math coach. We haven't had that before, so she's been helping a lot coming in. So looking at our data from our benchmarks, we are showing growth. We still have some work to do, but we're showing growth. Under the board, what they can do to help provide a high-quality education. Our team, when I met with them, mentioned Promethean boards. We got a taste of Promethean boards because in our new areas, we've got those. So now all of our teachers see the value in bringing those and bringing our curriculum, being able to put those up there. So we have asked for that. I'm not sure if I put this in our report, but one of our teachers, actually several of our teachers, have mentioned simple solutions. And I know that we kept that this year because we weren't sure about the math curriculum, but they feel that it is really helping some of the areas in Ready Math. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, my LSIC team will not forgive me if I don't mention the need for an assistant principal. I understand the reasons why we don't have one, and I've met with people regarding that, but they would not let me. They'd be very upset if I didn't mention that due to our numbers and just me being out a lot, especially with special ed and things like that. So I did want to mention that. Under facilities, we did note a few things. It's hard to say anything about facilities because look at what we have. So I've noted a few things, but we're just so thankful for what we have that it was a stretch. One thing was the front, and you'll notice when you leave how dark it is out there. When we were doing construction, they kind of mentioned that to me, that it would be pretty easy in their terms to make that a little brighter out there, but you'll see what I'm talking about as you leave this evening. Before I leave and in the night, I just want to share some of the positive things that go on here. Under family engagement, I could not go on and on about our PTO. They are just a very special group. I tell them, you plan the fun stuff and I'll plan the education stuff, and they take that and run with it. So Fall Festival, we had 500 families here. There was 38 community people here that set up booths, and we did a Fall Festival that night. They completely ran that. Our AR library is open every single day from like 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and that's completely ran by PTO and parent volunteers. And so we couldn't do what we do without them. Student leadership, our student council, they brought in close to 3,000 food items for a local food pantry at Thanksgiving, so we had a competition there. Our KTDN, Kids Trying to Do News, and fifth grade, that not only does our KTDN, they do hot off the press Tiger News. Of course they do that, but they also do great things for just people. So recently we had a student that, well, Mom is here tonight, that stayed in the Ronald McDonald House, and so we found out that if you collect the pop tabs, that you can turn those in for a lot of money for them. So we had a drive, and so we have over, how much is it? Over 500 pounds, I think, or right at 500 pounds that we're getting ready to deliver to the Ronald McDonald House. So they've done that. Some more positive things in our school. So our STEM group was asked to attend coding at the Capitol for the second year in a row, where our kids taught legislators things that they're learning in STEM, and we sat back, Miss Polly, if she is still here, we kind of set that back and let our kids run the show, and our legislators will come to me and say, do they really do this every day? So we're really proud of that. Our PBIS team, I've heard everybody kind of mention that, but they have worked countless hours, countless. After school, anytime, we meet at least once a month, sometimes twice, just getting those behavior things in line. We do an incentive every 9 weeks that's pretty fun. We're getting ready to do a staff masked singer that you can only get to if you're, get those PBIS team. Our new Access Health Clinic is amazing. Like, I cannot say how many times, I don't know if she is here, but our community, will come in, and if they have a child here, the child can use that, and it's really, really great. So thank you all for that. Our basketball team were the county champions this year. We've served over 45 families this Christmas with Christmas dinner and gifts. Miss Daniel, as you know, was our Midwest Teacher of the Year for PE. Within that PE, she does a thing called Marathon Kids, where she goes and they take their iPad and they have a little scanner. Every mile they run, they get, it clocks it. So as of right now, this year, our kids have ran 3,270 miles, which we looked it up. They could have ran from here to San Francisco by now. We have a chess club. Mr. Bolin is here, and so our kids are enjoying that. We'll start enjoying that again. And a German club, he does that. And then lastly, our 12 days of giving. So we do at Christmas time, all the dress-up days and all the fun stuff that we do. We kind of turned that in a few years ago to 12 days of giving. So every day we choose a different, Miss Childers is here, she kind of helps run that. And we choose a different organization to donate to. So this year alone, we taught that our students that it's truly better to give than to receive by donating to the Women's Resource Center, local food pantries, the Raleigh County Humane Society, Raleigh County Homeless Shelter, Service Men and Women, Hurricane Helene victims, the food backpack programs around the county, local nursing homes, and to the Eyes Center. So we were able to do that. And Miss Childers could verify this, but kids would get so excited, like, to give things. And so it's a lesson that goes beyond, just 12 days and just dressing up. I honestly could go on and on. Our school is a very special place. I'm very proud to lead it. But I do want to end with a little story. Yesterday, you all know how it goes. With all the snow days and all the things, you're trying to redo meetings and all this stuff. Well, if you have children that are being tested for special ed, you have a timeline, and you have got to meet that. So we were trying to get all that done, and I called a parent, and I said, I'm really sorry to do this, but we have to meet. And she said, well, honey, I'm going out of town. I can't do it. And I said, well, okay, let me think of what we can do. And she said, I trust you. Do it, and you call me and let me know what you and your team, I trust you. You do what is best for my child and let me know what that is. And I hung up the phone. It was a busy day, and I didn't think about that until I went home. And what a huge, it meant a lot to me just to hear, I trust you, from a parent. So as I end, I want to thank my team again for that's here and the work that they do. And I want to thank you all, too, for putting the trust that you have in us to do what we do every day. So thank you.
Okay, any questions?
I was going to say, we love your board. I asked if we bought that. They said you bought it.
Yes. So our PTO.
Your
the
PTO bought
amazing
that?
Yeah, so they fundraised and fundraised and fundraised. It is not a little cheap thing you can get at Walmart.
I was going to
believe
say,
me.
just out of
But
curiosity, what does that cost? Do you know?
I do. You want me?
Well, tell.
So you can get the LED version, which is this, which is the nicest of the nice, or you can get the other. We splurged, and it was right at $16,000.
16,000?
Mm-hmm.
Well, heck, Marie said she'd buy that tomorrow. That's no problem. That's no
So
problem.
we use that a lot. We are still learning how to use it, but like when we have basketball games or volleyball games, we put our cheerleaders, we put out their pictures and everything as they come out. We could even we could put all kinds of things on there.
Well, where it's portable, like I can see you can have it when the kids come in, even in the mornings, if you had recognize something or an event. I mean, it's pretty impressive. It is.
It really is
impressive.
amazing. Yeah. Our
how long
PTOs,
ago-
they came to me and said, "So if you raise the money, I mean, you all are the one doing it." But
I mean, that's impressive. The other thing is, I mean, I was here before. I was here with Mr. Price when this was just being bricked up and everything and stuff. And now that it's finished, it is beautiful. The school, the gym, and everything you've done here and stuff, it added a whole lot. Hopefully we can do some more out front. I wish we could have had the money to go ahead and finish the front, soffit too. But everything looks really nice. You know, compared to the old, what we call them, cafe gyms or what are the cafetoriums? You know, we have a gym and things and no forth. This is so much more impressive, and it's really nice.
And speaking from an educational standpoint too, I still forget that we don't have to schedule our lives around lunchtime.
Right.
Like
right.
I'm still like, oh yeah, I mean, we can have lunch now going on while we have PE. So
do other
from
stuff.
an educational standpoint, it's so much, it's so helpful.
And your test scores are good. I mean, like you said, you have a couple things that dropped a little bit, but you're doing on those. And Shady Springs Elementary has always been a really good school, and you continue the tradition. Congratulations.
I just want to comment. I love the 12 Days of Giving idea. That's wonderful. And the organizations that you helped, the variety, and that's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it
I
started
think that's
several
a
years ago
wonderful thing for you to do.
when Miss Lowry was here, but Miss Childers, who is in the audience, we get together, she organizes that and does all the kind of legwork, but yeah, it is amazing.
And what a nice thing to teach your students, too.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I think that's great.
Yeah, and just on a personal note, back 3 years ago, I had surgery at WVU, and a graduate of Shady Spring Grade School and High School was one of the nurses who took very good care of me, and I thank her for that. Her name was Jessie Kuhn.
Her
So
sister's
tell
sitting
her
here.
I said hi. Thanks, Holly. Thank you.
Hey, one last thing. I would be remiss if I didn't say the treats or the snacks. You guys were awesome with that. They were very good, and you deserve applause for that. Thank you very much. I mean, you knocked it out of the park. It was really wonderful.
Miss Vandal and Miss Holly kind of did a lot of that, and Miss Carla. I have a lot of help here. A lot of help.
Okay, stay warm. This meeting is adjourned. Yeah, be careful.